Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to today's installment of Home Solutions. Dennis Purvis live and direct here in the Mix 104.1 studio. We, as always, brought to you by a company I'm pretty biased towards as one of the owners, Pro 93 Home Solutions. We're your locally owned, veteran-owned general contractor. We can handle anything you've got, small to large, at your home or your business. We would love to talk to you if you've got... It's time for that shameless plug. If you've got everything from maybe you want a kitchen or a bath remodel, you want to build on an addition, maybe you want to build a new house, we'd love to help you out with all that. Also, remember, we've got our clean team that is ready for any of your residential cleaning needs or light commercial. We would love to talk to you. Wendy and the crew are ready to go. It's a green clean. We don't use any harmful chemicals, chlorine or ammonia. All our products are natural, but are also... We'll disinfect at 99.9% of all germs. So give us a call, Pro 93 Home Solutions, 458-4135. So this week I'm excited to have someone here we haven't had before, but also talking about some services that we haven't talked about a lot on this show. And it's basically all things electronic, and that's not just for your home, but also for your vehicles, maybe your boats, lots of different things that they get into. I actually learned, I was just talking before we went on air, things I didn't even know they did, and I've been a customer there for years, and I'm very happy to have the man, the myth, the legend, Richie Vannostran, owner of Underground Sound from right here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Richie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Man,
thanks for being here today. So let's just kind of dive in, talk a little bit about Underground Sound and what you guys do. You know, what's the quick pitch on what you guys do for folks?
Okay, quick pitch. I would say anything audio video for homes, boats, cars, motor homes. Trying to think, anything that you can put sound or a screen in,
or you want to,
we can pretty much make it work.
And you guys are you're the owner?
Yes.
How long have you had the company?
Almost 11 years.
11 years. And where are you from? Are you from Cleveland, or how'd you get here? What brought you into this line of business?
All right. Short story. Moved here in '91 when I was in high school. Graduated. I've always been into electronics. Had a job working for Rex TV back when they used to be around.
Rex, yeah.
I did that for a few years. Moved back to Florida, where I'm originally from. Ended up back in Cleveland. We just liked the area so much. Came back. Worked for Mark Dixon that had Penguins.
Yeah.
Car stereo. He's the one that got me back into it, and he actually hired me to do home theater, which back then was kind of
very niche.
Yes, very niche, and not very big in this area yet. So kind of broadened out into helping out with the car audio stuff. Did that for him for a few years, and then in 2010 he retired, and I basically bought him out and changed the name, and kind of was still doing the same stuff and grown it from there.
Well, man, I can tell you as both personally and business wise, Underground Sound's always been good to me. You've had I know at least one guy. I got to give him a shout out, D Sharp.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen anybody be able to do it faster and better than he does sometimes. And I can tell you, we've had it not just in my personal vehicle. You know, I'm one of these guys that I'm kind of cheap. So I'm still driving a 2007, and I'll drive it till the wheels fall off. But what it didn't have was any way for this nice new iPhone that I have to communicate with anything. There's no Bluetooth, no auxiliary. And you guys were nice enough to put a new Sony touchscreen in there with CarPlay on it for me. And we've now, I think, all of our vehicles, you guys either put backup cameras, touchscreens. Folks, you can't... They make you an appointment. We've never had to wait, number one. When you get an appointment with them, that's your appointment. And two, it seems like every time they're done faster than you guys said you were going to be. So it was easy to plan, great service. And I know there's a lot of big box stores, and some of them even in this town, that offer some of the services you guys do. What do you think it is that set you guys apart to be able to let you guys stick around for as long as you guys have?
Experience, for one.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's got the experience that we do, especially in this area. And then we're just small, and we try to keep it small, keep from getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And that's always really worked for us. And just I don't know. It just seems to work well for us.
And you guys were over off 25th Street there across from McDonald's for a long time,
yes.
But you guys have recently just moved. Where's the new location?
Okay, 909 Sahara Drive. If you're from the area, you'll know where Pokey's restaurant is. We're right around the corner from them.
Behind the Arby's kind of a deal.
Behind the Arby's, next to Economy Rentals.
Yeah.
So right off of Keith Street.
And that's a nice space for you guys there, isn't it?
It is. We've been renting since 2010 and found this place a year ago, this past January. And with COVID coming in, it took about 6 months to close on the building.
Yeah, I bet it did.
And when our lease was up October 1st of last year, we moved in. And hopefully, now that we own the building, we don't have to worry about being kicked out or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
no kidding.
No more moving.
Yes, that's good. And I think one of the things, we're going to go through a lot of the services that you guys offer, but I think one of the big things people don't understand is you guys do a lot of custom work and fabrication work, and that's something that you guys, I think people that word of mouth a lot with you guys has really gotten out. And I think especially kind of in the boats when they're talking about marine.
Oh, yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you guys offer. If somebody comes in, they've got a new boat, they want, it's a weekender, they want to get out there and jam some tunes. And, how did you guys get into that, and how is that? Because that seems to be a pretty steady part of what you guys do, isn't it?
Yes, it used to be very seasonal, and now it's covered to where it's not quite year-round because it does get cold enough here, and a lot of people winterize.
It's called global warming, and it's helping us out a little bit in your line of work.
Winterize and put the boats up. But, it's just natural progression from cars to boats, and as the boats are getting bigger, it's like the stereos are getting bigger, and it's on the river, I can hear yours, but I don't want to. I want to hear mine, so what I got to do to make it louder. So it's been fun for us to see the progression with some of the customers. They'll start out small, and then every year they kind of build on it.
What can I add?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And but a lot of it's there's a lot of people, boats are very expensive to buy a new boat. So I get a lot of people buying the older boats. Speakers are old, stereo's old. They want to fix it up. That's usually one of the first things that get done on the boats is they bring them in, we put new speakers in them, new radio, maybe an amplifier, sub, that sort of thing. And, boats are easy for us to work on. So.
And it's what the custom part of that comes, I think a lot of it is water and electronics don't go together. That's just what I've heard.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's a bad thing.
That is a bad thing.
But you guys, a lot of times if it's outside of kind of the factory settings, so to speak, you guys have to build sort of containment for this stuff, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of with the subwoofers and such, there's a lot of times we'll have to build like a waterproof enclosure for it. Not necessarily that they're always going to get wet, but there's always a possibility. So you got to plan for stuff like that. There's a lot of the new radios now that are waterproof.
Really?
So we don't have to worry about the radios as much.
So let me ask you this. Is that for real? Because
for real.
People talk about waterproof floor, and I'm all the time, I'm like, there's no
this is for real. You can sit there. I tell people not to do it constantly, but you can sit there and you can hit the radio with a hose, and it's not going to bother it. That's been nice for us, because in the old days, radios were water resistant.
Yes, that's
not
the word.
Waterproof. Yeah. And I'm not even sure they were really water resistant.
If it was really humid, they might mess up.
Exactly. So we get away from that now.
What do you think is just curiosity's killing me. What's the biggest system, biggest boat you've ever worked on?
There's a boat around here. He lives up in Polk County that we've done. We won't talk about amounts, but we'll talk about wattage.
Yeah.
I think we figured it at one time. It was almost 15,000 watts.
15,000 watts.
Yeah.
So you may not know who it is, but you've heard him.
Oh yeah. If some people listening will know who it is, but yeah, that's probably the biggest that we've done, and it's really sold us a lot of systems because people are like, "Who in the world did your?" So. Well,
that's the kind of thing that you can only find a lot of times with a small, locally owned shop like you guys that are going to take the time, build the relationship, and give the customer what they want. At the end of the day, it's not their boat, or it's not our boat, it's theirs.
Yep.
We tell people all the time, and they're like, I don't know, I want to do this, but what do you think? And I'm like, I don't have to live here.
Yeah.
As long as it's not against code and going to cost me my license, guess what?
Right.
We'll give you what you want. I'll give you polka dot ceilings if you need it. All right. So we talked about marine. We've talked about that. But let's talk a little bit about some of the other things you guys do, things that I didn't know about. Obviously, you think electronics, obviously vehicles. And we talked a little before we came on with some of the touchscreen, like what I've got, the Sony system that you guys put in for me. Those are becoming harder to come by, you're saying?
Well, right now there's a shortage, a supply shortage, and it's not so much from the chips, it's just a logistics, being able to get the stuff shipped in.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, they're sitting at they're here.
You can see where they are.
They're on a boat in a port somewhere across the country, and they're just waiting to be unloaded. So it's gotten harder for the name brand. A lot of the big name brand stuff, it's just not available. And it's not just us, it's like nationwide kind of deal. And people will come in and I'm like, I've got this radio and I've got this radio, but that's all I've got. And then they get online and start looking and they come back and like, oh my gosh, you're right, nobody has it. And I said, yeah. So
we're not lying to you.
So I'm hoping, they're telling us mid-October we'll start getting a little bit, it'll start loosening up a little bit as far as that goes, and maybe there'll be some more availability, but I can't even commit to that right now. But the big thing for cars is Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, because if you look at most of your new cars, the screens are getting bigger, and that's like a given. You know, a few years ago they all had to have Bluetooth. Well, now it's gone from Bluetooth to the CarPlay and the Android Auto stuff. So that's what everybody wants, you know, in their cars now, is if they got an older car, they want it to do everything a new car does without having to buy the new car.
Yeah, so, absolutely. I'm one of those. That's what I was wanting. I just wanted my phone to be able to work and not get arrested for always looking at my phone.
Exactly.
Because you know what? When I don't know if you've ever noticed, when you own a business, people call you a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the phone is sort of your lifeblood. As far, you know, you can't. It's hard to set appointments without being able to talk to folks.
Listen, when Tennessee passed that cell phone law, a couple of summers ago, oh my gosh,
you couldn't keep.
I could not, and it was they didn't care what the radio was as long as it had Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And I never sold so many just plain Jane Bluetooth radios as I did that summer. Right after that was passed.
You've never been so happy with your Tennessee legislature.
It was like, I was like case after case of radios.
Suddenly you're the most political person on earth. Vote yes on hands-free. Yes. So, I never thought about that, but I'm sure that was quite a boon for sales that year.
It really was. It really was.
What brands do you guys kind of carry, specialize in, maybe that deal in there the most?
We carry normally, because I say normally because right now it's not normal.
Yeah.
Kenwood, JVC, Sony, Alpine. Those are the four biggest companies as far as radios go. We also carry JL Audio, which they've been around forever as far as the speakers and amplifiers go. Marine, we sell a lot of wet sounds, which is a specialized marine line. And then for the car line, we also sell a couple brands that are getting bigger that are just brick and mortar. For guys like me, you can't really buy them online.
Yeah.
Digital Design is one of them, and then Audio Dynamics is another company. So check them out.
And one more time, where can they check all this stuff out at if they want to come see you?
909 Sahara Drive, right off of Key Street. We're between Economy Rentals and Pokies.
And what's the best phone number for them to reach you?
423-472-8493.
And if I'm right, it's undergroundsoundtn.com, right?
Yes.
They can check out the website.
Correct.
All that information's there. They've got a nice list of their different services. You can take a look. Listen, we're up against it. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to finish talking about that's not all they do with your vehicles, with your boats, but also, we're going to talk about what they can do in your home. You heard him say earlier he was originally hired into this business to do home audio. That's kind of his thing. We're going to let him talk a little bit about maybe you've been looking for that new media room, finishing that basement for a little projector and movie room. We'd love to talk to you about it. Hang in there with us. You're listening to Home Solutions right here on Mix 104.1 and 101.3 The Buzz. Are you tired of going to YouTube or Google for answers to your home improvement questions? Maybe you have more projects than you have time. No matter where you are in the process, Pro 93 Home Solutions is ready to serve you. Pro 93 is a local, veteran-owned company offering residential and commercial remodeling, cleaning, and security. Contact us today at 458-4135 or online at pro93homesolutions.com. Let the pros at Pro 93 find the solution for your home or business. That's 458-4135. Welcome back. We want to thank everybody for listening to Home Solutions today. Dennis Purvis in studio with Richie, owner of Underground Sound, audio, video, and performance right here in Cleveland, Tennessee on Sahara Drive, right in the middle of town. We've been talking about a lot of the different vehicle and boat options they have as far as sound and radios. And one of the things I wanted to get to, this is a home and garden show, so we want to talk a little bit about that home theater option. I know we are actually starting a job that I need to talk to you about when we leave the studio here. We're starting the first phase of a basement remodel for a couple that are turning it into a media room. They want the big screen. They want the surround sound, the speakers. We're studding everything up, and I told her, before you sheetrock anything, let's call the guys that are going to have to run the wire.
Oh yeah.
But home audio and maybe it's a COVID thing. I know it's gotten more and more popular, but what I'm seeing, especially around younger couples, younger families especially, where these home theaters and these specialized rooms where they're even getting the reclining movie chairs. She has plans to get a popcorn machine, right, to have a little snack, the concession area that we're going to build for her. But that's becoming more and more popular. What have you seen are the biggest trends and how that's grown? You said you got into this 10, 15 years ago doing that, right? Mm-hmm. What have you seen, how that is just the technology and the cost? It's obviously a lot more cost effective now than it's probably ever been, right?
It is. Projectors are, you can still buy very expensive projectors.
Yeah.
But honestly, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get a good projector anymore. And that was even so 10 years ago. And it enabled me to do a lot of projectors with screens. I didn't do so many in Cleveland, but there was a contractor in Chattanooga that I did a lot of houses for, and most of them were projector and screens with surround sounds and that sort of thing. But honestly, the TVs, the LED TVs, have gotten so big.
Yeah.
I don't do as many projectors anymore.
I know. I can't believe the 70-something inches and they're not what you would think expensive.
I mean, last week I did an 85-inch and two 75-inch TVs at some different houses, and the 85-inch is huge.
Yeah.
And it's just, the picture is great. Will projectors ever be able to compete on the level of an LED? No, because of the lighting issues that you run into. But it's more people are getting into the big TV just for that simple fact they want that movie feel of a projector. But not everybody's room is, set up
for that,
a projector.
And even in basements and stuff like that, when you got really low ceilings, it's really hard to set that, get that angle where you need to without cutting, where you're going to sit, where you're going to sit stuff, so it gets into that. So what are the kind of the best systems out there that you guys use? What do you guys usually, speaker-wise, do they still have sound bars and stuff like, surround sound?
So we used to do a lot of in-ceiling, in-wall speakers.
Yeah.
And then it got to where they made so many sound bars with the wireless subwoofers. Most people, that's all they wanted.
Yeah.
And it was easier because if they ever moved, they could take it with them.
Yep,
Where when you're doing the in-ceiling and in-wall,
they're built there. They're there.
Yeah, it's on to the next guy's house.
Yes. Yeah.
So that kind of cut back on a lot of the pre-wiring work that we used to do. In these new constructions, but as of here late, people have the bonus room over the garage that hasn't been finished yet, that I've been seeing them finish. They've got the unfinished basement that now it's like, okay, we got this space, we need to do something with it. What's something that's good for the whole family? Let's make a media room. So, and I've seen that progress from what they used to call like a 5.1 surround sound system. Man, they're up to 11.2 and more.
I remember back in the day, when I was in college, I was all excited because I had gotten a good job while I was in school and gotten a good commission check. I sold cell phones back before everybody had one, and I got that Iowa surround sound system, dual cassette deck. For anybody listening under 30, cassettes were these things we used to listen to music on. The 5 CD changer. Oh yeah,
I used to sell those at Rex. I really did.
I might have bought it from you at Rex. Who knows?
Awesome.
But yeah, that was thinking about back then, and it had the the little speakers you hung on the walls for the surround and the little bitty sub in the front, and to see where they are now with wireless, it's amazing to me. How do you keep up with that stuff?
I don't know. One thing about the wireless people need to know, they still have to plug in somewhere for power.
Yeah.
I get people that have called me, they've bought these wireless systems, and they go and set the speakers where they want them, and they're like, I can't get the surround sound to work. And I'm like, well, did you plug them in? But they're wireless. Well, they're wireless for the signal, but they still got to have power. So wireless doesn't necessarily mean completely wireless.
Yes.
Just want to put that out there.
It's just like a TV. It's not
yeah.
running on solar quite yet.
It's funny.
So, with all these changes going on,
Mm-hmm.
you guys, have you seen? We've seen a huge uptick in. It seems like remodeling for us right now. People are just where a lot of people have been stuck in their houses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they haven't been able to go to Disney World,
Mm-hmm.
and they're taking that money and they're making that media room, or they're redoing those kitchen cabinets, or they're redoing that back. If I got to sit here and look at it all the time, by God, I want to change it up. Have you guys seen a little uptick in
a little bit,
that?
and it's really not for us. It's not so much the in-house; it's the out-back.
Yeah, outdoor.
The back patios.
And you
they're
guys do
wanting
that
to put
too.
speakers. They're wanting to put a TV out there. You know, they're wanting something that they can put a cover over if they're not using it. You know, they might be putting in a pool and wanting, you know, a sound system around the pool. I've actually done a few of those here lately.
And is it the same thing you guys got to sometimes have to fabricate, like putting a TV outside, putting a case around it?
Yeah, sometimes you got to do something like
it?
that. Usually it's a cover, and there's some special mounts that you can get that mount up underneath the eave or something like that, where you don't have to necessarily put it on the wall. So
I didn't even think about that, but outdoor living space is the
there's
big and I just did mine. That's the thing, is I just spent time fixing. You know, it's fall was coming. I'm like, I need a better. My deck was old. You know, and I'm sure you get this at home. It's like, as a contractor, I get this. Well, you can go fix everybody else's stuff, but I can't get to my own. And I finally got to it, but you don't even think about that. But the outdoor, you know, I've got a good friend of mine that's got 5 or 6 TVs on college football. He's been waiting for college football Saturday so he can watch all the games he wants to watch at once. And it's a pretty nice setup. And so for their home, you've got outdoor, you've got the media rooms, but that's not. I really, before we run out of time, don't want to go through. You guys also have GPS. You guys still do alarms, remote starts.
Oh yeah. In fact, coming pretty soon, we're going to start being covered up with remote starts. Lots of backup cameras, especially kids that are coming up driving. You know, they're driving.
Thank you,
they're
Jesus,
learning in mom and dad's car, and it's got a backup camera. And then I couldn't tell you how many I've had come in. The parents buy their kid the car, and their kid goes to get in it, and they go to back out of the parking spot, and they just stop and they freeze. And the parents like, "What's wrong?" "I can't back up." "Why not?" "I don't have a camera."
You have eyeballs.
Yeah.
But they haven't.
People are.
Listen, I joke about that.
Yeah.
But look, my wife, she's got the newer of the car, obviously, between the two of us. And it's got the backup camera. And I refused to look at it the first few times I drove it because I'm like, I ain't trusting that thing. That felt like Clint Eastwood, like, get off my lawn, you know?
Yeah.
But now, if I drive her car for the weekend and then get back in mine on Monday, I do the same thing. I'm looking at my screen that you guys put in for me. I'm going, I should have got the backup camera, because now I've got to go through all this trouble of turning over my shoulder.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
And you never think about it. If that's all you know, if that's all you've known.
We're a society of convenience.
Yes. And I see on here you guys, you still doing the satellite, Sirius XM?
Not as much as we used to. That's kind of, and I think it's their own fault because they charge so much, it seems like, for the subscriptions. But here again, so many people have the online subscriptions now. They just put it on their phone, and just if they got Bluetooth, they just stream it from their phone.
That's exactly what I do.
But we still do sell, you know, the units to go in the vehicle as well.
And window tinting.
Yes.
Yeah, I had no idea you guys did that.
I didn't used to.
Yeah.
When D came back to work, he had gotten some good experience when he was working in Chattanooga doing the window tinting. So he was like, hey, you want to do some window tint? And I was like, sure, let's do it.
So listen, folks, the question really is, why haven't you given Underground Sound a car? One more time, where are you guys located at?
909 Sahara Drive, off of Key Street. It's between Economy Rentals and Pokey's. If you know where Tractor Supply, Arby's, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, it's right in that area.
Yeah, if you find Enterprise Rent-A-Car, you'll find Sahara Drive. Yep. And how do they get a hold of you? What's the phone number there?
423-472-8885. 8493.
And undergroundsoundtn.com.
Yep.
So I think we've talked about boats. We've talked about cars. We've talked about home audio. I guess we try to get everybody every week. If there is a tip you could give folks out there, either with their new devices, with their CarPlay, or something at home with their audio, what's something that you guys kind of shake your head with calls you get? What's something that you can give them a little tip of how to take care of their stuff, how it's going to work better, how they can kind of optimize what they already have?
All right. The big thing, and it'll be car, because we do so much car. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, use a certified cable for your phone. We get so many people that come in and my CarPlay is not working, my Android Auto's, and 95% of the time it's their cable.
Can I just tell you? Okay, we established earlier that I'm legendarily cheap, and D gave me this exact speech when I got the Sony. Okay, and so because I'm cheap, the first thing I did was go to Amazon and buy like the 2 for $12. Mm-hmm. It's lightning. It fits an iPhone. And I'm like, oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably 3 weeks later, neither one of them worked anymore.
Yep.
And I was just like, and I didn't want to call because I didn't want to hear D, because I knew what the problem was. Yeah. And I finally broke down and ordered an Apple cord, certified cord. Mm-hmm. And here's the deal. It was like $26. But I still have it in my car right now. And it's been 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Like I would have like, well, I'm only spending $6-7 at a gas station.
It adds up quick.
Yeah. Well, how many of those are you going to buy in a year?
Right.
There's a fine line of being principled and stupid.
Oh, yeah.
And I was walking it, I can tell you. So anytime I think of that, I could just see D shaking his head at me. What kind of cord you got?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, please no.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing this, maybe you're in your car right now listening to 103.1, 104.1, driving around this Saturday morning, trying to battle the rain and the cloudies and get your home honeydew list done. Maybe you're headed out to get something. Maybe you need to head over to Sahara Drive and check out Underground Sound, see what they've got to offer. Remember, pay for the good cables.
Yeah.
Whether it's Android or Apple, get the good cables. Probably the gas station ones are not the way to go, or the ones that come in bulk.
Yes.
Through Amazon.
My gosh, yes.
If they say Amazon's choice, it's probably a bad option.
Right.
Listen, Richie, I appreciate you being here today.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. Folks, Underground Sound, right here in Cleveland, locally owned. You got a question about this stuff, give them a call. I can tell you personally, great customer service, great price, the craftsmanship and the workmanship and what they've done. I have not had an issue. We've had now 5 vehicles that they have put different electronics in, and not a single issue we've had with any of them. So thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having us. Folks, listen. Stick around for just a few minutes here. A to Z Real Estate's coming right up. You're listening to Home Solutions today. Dennis Purvis signing off from the Mix 104.1 studios and 101.3 The Buzz.